te parece esa morra? La que anda bailando sola me gusta pa' mí.
Bella, ella sabe que está buena, que todos andan mirándola como baila.
Me acerco y le tiro todo un verbo. Tomamos tragos sin pero, solo tentación.
Le dije, voy a conquistar tu familia, que en unos días vas a ser mía.
Me dijo que estoy muy loco, pero le gusta que ningún vato como yo actúa. Y este va, mija, y fuera doble P, viejo.
Así nomás con papel no puro estamos armados. A las plebitas. Pero hablando del corazón, tengo un flor pa' mí.
Me agarro pegadito de su mano, mi compañía se la creo, que al pasar fue
Juro por Dios que eran tan perfectas sus cinturitas como
I don't know the lyrics for shit, but I love this song. Whatever the song is. The song is fire. How's everyone doing, chat? Welcome to another episode of You Know What It Is. You're here. If you're here, you know what we do. We talk stocks. We talk stock market, all things trading, cryptocurrencies, and all the other fun stuff. You're here with the one and only TraderPrad. Welcome. Thank you for the music. It said try for music. Thank you. Say thank you. But yeah, no, I was just vibing. That was my pre-stream ritual. Usually before I go live, I listen to something that hypes me up. That way I could, get energized, get all fun, get all crazy for you guys, so we could have a little bit of entertaining while also being educational. That way it doesn't get boring, right? It just gets boring otherwise. It gets stale. Nobody wants to stay for that. So let's have some fun, ladies and gentlemen. Today's market, wow, big reversal on the Qs, big reversal. SPY still ended negative, if I remember correctly. Let me just go check that. Yeah, SPY still ended negative. QQQ actually ended up on the day. IWM still down about 1% over here on the day today. But the big reversal on the QQQs overall. The tech sector was so strong. I can't really remember who carried the tech sector today, but for the overall tech sector monster reversal to the north side, and that was very, very fun watching the market go. How did my day go? I started the day horrible, like real bad. Boeing and Coinbase kind of just beat me up today, and I had to spend the rest of the day just kind of not trading some of the momentum based stocks and go to a stock that it's a setup that you guys mostly won't make, you guys can't take advantage of at home if you're a retail trader paying fees to get in and get out. But being a prop trader who has the ability to collect fees and so on, we'll talk about it, use the setup over there that's possible for prop traders, and did pretty good to kind of cut the losses on the day. I was big red, but by the end of the day where I came out, I put my head down, put my music in. Like I said, I need music to kind of hype me up. Put my music in, kind of tune the whole world out, and just sat there punching keys, in, out, in position, out position. And there's so many keys that I had to press today. My hands were cramping up at one point. I mean, it was like 555 different executions that I took. I mean, out of those 555 executions, 500 were just on one stock. So we'll talk about it a little bit, kind of show you what the chart looks like. You'll be very, very puzzled as to what I'm doing even on that chart. But yeah, my goodness, there was some inner demon of Prad that had to come out to be even able to, you know, pull so many trades out and just kind of sit there and put my head down and go to work. It was crazy to even see that I had it in me after getting beat up, you know, kind of going, okay, you know what, I can sit here, bitch, and cry about my day being bad, or I can figure out how to cut the losses into half at least, very much, and that's what we ended up doing. Still positive on the month. Inshallah, Allah Akbar, Krishna, Jesus, Jesus, everybody, you know, thank you. Still green on the month, and we're looking to see how we can kind of turn this damage or this week, which is kind of starting on a red now because yesterday was flat, today was red. So we're hoping to kind of turn this week around back into the green side and continue going into the green direction for this month and see where we end up. So yeah, let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about my trades on the day. We'll talk about also our wonderful watch list that we have ready for you and see where the fun trades might show up. Let's take a look. In the meantime, actually, I forgot to change this for you guys. Let me move the screen all the way to the right side. Move the camera to the right side for you guys. That way it's not blocking the bottom right of the screen. And let me just take a quick look at the chat, see what's going on in the chat. TH, what's up, TH? TH number 2, let's go. Number 1, as always, TraderPrad, baby. Lol thumbnail, says Ryan. Yeah, Praddy Gensler's in the house, you know it. Obviously, the whatever happened with Bitcoin over there. I mean, Bitcoin ETF is supposed to be passed or rejected. We don't know yet, passed or rejected by the end of today or tomorrow. I think by the end of tomorrow, actually, June 10th, the decision is supposed to be coming out. Today, however, at the end of the day, around 4 o'clock or so, the SEC account announced that the Bitcoin ETF got approved and everything was good. And Bitcoin started going up. Mara, Coinbase, Riot, all of them started going up at 4 o'clock. But then within minutes, the chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler, or should I say Praddy Gensler, came out and said that the SEC account was actually hacked. They hacked the account somehow, and they made this bogus fake tweet to create some sort of a hype. I wonder if the hacker was like, you know, long before it or short before it, you know, how they kind of helped themselves in that situation over there. I also wonder if this was an internal SEC the account manager who just did this on purpose, maybe. I don't know. So I'm wondering a lot of things over here, but obviously it's pretty bad. It's a bad look that the SEC account got hacked. It's a bad look that the SEC is you know, trying to push Bitcoin out there for or at least they're deciding if they want Bitcoin out there for investors on the stock market. But you know, but this hacking is not actually a good thing, if you ask me, because they were already talking about how Bitcoin crime and everything, and now you're seeing another part of that crime world kind of bleed into the Bitcoin ETF catalyst. So in my opinion, it's not a good look. It's just like you know, you're kind of ruining it to make it happen. It's not that this one event is going to cancel the whole thing. I'm just kind of thinking in a way like, why would you do that? If you want Bitcoin approved, why would you go hack an account and do this? Because this has some implications now. You could go some problem with this. FBI will go after them. Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt that at all. I mean, I remember when... what was it? Lizard Squad. If you guys know what Lizard Squad is, they are a group of hackers, kind of like Anonymous. A group of hackers from way back in the day. They were responsible for taking down the PlayStation Network and the Xbox Network during Christmas. So during a part of Christmas, I remember logging into my PlayStation Network and it's telling me I can't play games that day. I can only play offline games, which felt like pretty shitty. But yeah, PlayStation Network was down and they were at fault for it. The FBI cracked them down. The FBI hunted them. A couple hackers, Anonymous themselves, came out and kind of doxed the Lizard Squad people, and that helped the FBI catch them. So yeah, I'll be very, very intrigued to see what happens with this hack event. You know, hacking these days is it's a lot harder. You know, a lot of companies got two-factor authentication in multiple ways. You're telling me the SEC account is not two-factor authenticated? Are you really telling me the SEC account is not two-factor authenticated? And let's say it is. Okay, let's say it is, right? This hacker would have needed to social engineer his way somehow to get the two-factor authentication. Well, they could also do the other glitch which they did before. You know, you social engineer your way through it. You get a fake phone number. Now you have this person who is in charge of the SEC account. You have his name. You have his address. You use this new phone number. You call up, your phone provider, you tell them this is your new phone number, you get it all changed up, and then you can get your email sent, password sent, forgot password, put in a new phone number and everything. There's a lot of things that you could have done, but this like old school hacking, like we're going to brute force it, we're going to go into your mainframe, we're going to grab all the information, I'm a super hacker, I'm gonna it's all terminal code. Stuff like that is pretty rare, especially with big companies like this. It's a lot of social engineering that usually ends up taking place. So I'm thinking that's what happened over there for that. Because that's crazy. Save the password for now, or internal. Yeah, that's also possible. It is pretty crazy though. I'm shocked that my company account, I'm the chairman of the SEC, Praddy Gensler over here, and I'm pretty surprised that my company account got hacked, man. That was crazy. That's a crazy story. What a world we are in currently, man. What beautiful story, I guess. Okay, let's talk about my trades on the day. Like I said, I had pretty much only 3 main stocks that I traded today. I had a bunch of stocks here and there. Maybe I tried to Google long, and I tried I think it was Nvidia, if I remember correctly. No, it was Amazon long and a Google long. Basically ended up flat on it. I tried to take a breakout of 140 on Google, and I tried to take a breakout of, I think, 150 on Amazon, if I remember correctly. They both broke out, but then they came right back in, and I stopped myself out, and my day was already bad because of Boeing and Coinbase, so I just stayed away from it. Eventually, those trades ended up coming back into play, giving you the breakout and actually going much higher if you took them. But like I said, I was busy with a whole different stock, which we'll talk about in a second. Starting my day with Coinbase. Coinbase, you guys, if you were tuned into my stream yesterday, you know how excited I was for this 155 level to come into play, and especially if this 155 level could hold off the open. So off the open, we flush to the downside, we pop back up, I take an entry. I see right after my entry, the stock starts showing a little bit of weakness. It's going up, but not really too much higher. It flushes back down, so I take my exit, and then I punch out for a loss over here from this trade. Then after I punch out, it's immediately back up and it's holding now. So I figure, okay, maybe I just punched out too quick. That was a little bit of a big flush over there, so I'll get back in, and then I'll try to see how big of a move can the stock give me. I'm about like, $1 or $2 in the money, not really taking any profit, because I'm thinking the stock will now hold above today's VWAP and then go back to today's or yesterday's close, go back to yesterday's high around 160s, or even the pre-market high at 160s, at which point we can then make a decision of taking profits or adding to our trade somewhere in this range. Overall, this range does not hold, and it flushes right back down, but it doesn't go all the way to the previous low. It makes a new low somewhere in the same area again, and it starts consolidating in this area. So I figure, okay, maybe it's worth it to add one more lot over here and give it the stop. I did it, didn't work, boom, lost on the day. Awesome. Now I'm thinking, okay, Coinbase has clearly showed its cards. Failed 160, flushed. This looks very much like what the stock did 2 days ago, where it breaks 160. This is today, right here, 2 days ago, where it breaks 160, rejects and flushes, comes back down and kind of, gives you some sort of a short right back to the downside. So I'm thinking, maybe that's the opportunity for me to short here. Over here too, we broke 160. No, we didn't really break 160 over here, but this is the day I'm talking about. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's some sort of a trade over here for the short side. I'll now wait for the pop and get short on the pop, and then I'll set my stop somewhere near VWAP, right above the high of this little consolidation area, and then that also ends up triggering. So I just go, wow, okay, so Coinbase, I'm just not going to trade it today. I usually never trade Coinbase anyways, and the one day that I decide to trade Coinbase that ends up doing this to me, I'm done with Coinbase. I'm not looking at it. I'm going to go to Boeing instead. I go to Boeing. Now I'm looking at Boeing, 224, 225 area comes into play. I try to take the break out of 224, lose. I try, and then I start tilting because I'm already down on the day on Coinbase, right? So I'm trying to take stupid positions, random positions, holding it way far against me, trying to scalp it out. Eventually, I realize, nope, Boeing is now creating a higher low. It's not really going all the way back down. There's a good chance Boeing does what it did yesterday, where it finds buying and it goes back up north. 225 was a key area for me. 226 is also a key area, which was yesterday's low. So focusing on the 225, 226 area, stopping myself out over here. My manager said I needed to give it a little bit more risk to 226. I mean, I deny it. I disagree. I mean, clearly this pop is being reclaimed. The VWAP is holding. I really didn't need to see 226 come into play, but he said I needed to give up to 226. I'll take his word for it. You know, he's a way better trader than I am, so I can't just sit there and deny that statement. Over here, he said I needed to wait. I didn't wait. I took my loss way quicker than that. If I did wait for 226, it would have been a much, much bigger loss for me. Boeing and Coinbase destroyed me today, but thankfully, I went full fight mode. Left hook, undercut, boom, right hook, and then, you know, even a nice little front kick straight down the middle, like that Tony Ferg, Michael Chandler kick, baby. Straight head kick. That's what I got, head kicked first, but then I came back fighting and I boxed the stock all day. I mean, you can see me getting in and out every penny, just taking profits per penny, taking collecting fees on the same price by getting in and out on the same price. This is a feature that, you know, obviously not a lot of traders who trade at home, who actually pay $6-7 or even you know, some of you might have free / whatever commissions that you guys are trading on. You could probably take advantage of something like this, but you know, this is why I try not to show the setup. It doesn't mean anything, and it looks very, very hectic, very, very crazy as to what I'm really doing over here. Overall, the idea is to provide liquidity, and when you're providing liquidity, the market gives you some sort of a rebate, and I'm just playing collections. I'm playing collections, and at the same time I'm collecting fees. I'm also collecting a quick little penny profit also. So let's say I'm getting in 100 shares, I might be getting out 25 every penny up, or if it's just stuck at the same price that I got in at and that's actually looking to flush, then I'm looking to get out the same 100 shares at the same price that I got in, but also buy the next 100 shares right down below this penny under. And I'm just going to keep rinsing and repeating, rinsing and repeating, rinsing and repeating. That way, whatever size I started with at whatever price I was, even if it flushes against me, if the stock is doing what it's supposed to do, I usually should be able to not take too much damage, and then my average price moves down with the stock while it's moving down, and when the stock goes back up to the north side, I should make all the losses that I incurred first if I did take any losses. But like I said, if I'm getting in and getting out at the same price, I'm not really taking the loss. All I'm doing is collecting fees. That's called rebate trading. For most of you, like I said, once again, you will never be able to use that, so don't even worry about it. Okay, the next part of the stream over here, ladies and gentlemen, is our watch list. But before we go to the watch list, I want to take a look at the chat over here again, because TH is saying that's a stretch. I'm thinking you're talking about an internal, when I said an internal tweet from like a worker and he planned to do it, that is a stretch. You know, I like the stretch. We'll see what happens. I'm still very, very confused as to how that hack took place. Okay, so funny that the account got hacked at the perfect time. Yeah, I know, right? 500 executions. Man, you're the algo now. Sometimes it do be like that, Michael. It do be like that. Were you able to make the video? Oh, I did make the video, but it just wasn't good. It wasn't good. I didn't want to post it. Instead, it's like, you know, the websites are good, but it's just like there wasn't much talk that I could give about these videos, like about these websites. Like I tried. It was like maybe 30 seconds per website, and the video was like 2-3 minute long. So I just didn't feel like it was a good video. I feel like I need to make more content for it. I might have to shoot it again, and I might have to use AI to kind of help me make a script over here. So I'll work on that. But for now, yeah, that video just wasn't good. It was like 5 minutes long at best. It wasn't good at all. So I didn't post it. Sorry for that. Next one. Yeah, I think the chat, I'm all caught up on the chat. So now we just have the watch list, ladies and gentlemen. So let me show you guys our wonderful watch list for tomorrow. This is what our watch list looks like. Pretty short and simple. Not too many stocks up there. For the most part, our main focus is going to be the cryptocurrency basket, because you saw what happened with Bitcoin. I mean, we're still talking about it. So you know what's happening about Bitcoin. Bitcoin trying to break out, Bitcoin ETF trying to get approved. A lot of crazy things happening right now in that space. So very, very in play sector. So got to keep an eye on it. Most of the stocks, well, not most of the stocks, but our most important stocks are going to be Coin, Riot, Maro, even though I pretty much said I'm anti-coin trading because coin is just such a shitty stock to trade in my opinion. But we'll see if there's any trade opportunities that show up on Coinbase. Starting with AXNX, we don't have to talk about that. The stock is for myself. That is that buyout stock that we were talking about, that rebate trading that we were talking about. So instead of that, we're going to go straight over to WDFC, an earnings play that came out today after hours, announced their earnings today, and looks like green earnings. Let me just quickly put the default green color over here. That's the level I want. So they did announce their earnings today after hours. Looks like they did beat on a nice beat, 22% beat on the EPS, and about 5% beat, 4.5% overall beat on the revenue side. Expecting their guidance to go up higher too, but got to keep in mind the stock's volume is very, very light. It's a $200 position, trading about only 300,000 shares on average. On some very rare times the stock can bring in some volume, especially on like earnings day and so on. Brought in 1 million shares on this day, but usually the stock trades about, on a 30-day average, it trades 152,000 shares. So very, very light on volume for the stock. That means the spread could open up very easily. You got to be careful when you're trading this position as a day trade or a swing trade. I guess swing trade, you're a little bit less careful for the volume because you only care about the move and so on. But for a day trader, this is a little bit of a scary stock. So obviously be very, very careful when you're looking for an entry. Off the earnings move though, looks like the stock did break that 52-week high that we're looking at right around 245.76. So 245, 246 area, taking out that level in the after hours, going as high as 241, 242 on the earnings move. So we'll be interested to see how the stock behaves tomorrow pre-market. Do we get a pullback into this 52-week high area and consolidate cleanly in front of that 52-week high for us to get into some sort of a long, if there's a good base, a nice cup and handle, or some sort of a pattern being formed for us to get long into? I would love for that. But if the stock is just looking to not hold this 246, 245 area and flush back down, then it kind of negates this whole earnings move that we're looking at. So very, very interested to see what happens over here on WDFC. Support 246. And then right under 246, I'll just put 245 just to be safe. The low of this candle is what, 243.50. So that, I don't know if that comes into play, but I'm not going to put that in my notes. As for resistances, I mean, new 52-week high, obviously a lot of levels open up because the stock hasn't traded here for a long time now. We are kind of around this area right now. So if you go back to the 5-minute chart, you see how that 255.22 area is coming into play. There is a good chance that the stock goes into that price tomorrow. Maybe we break out of that price. Maybe we see some resistance around that price. So we'll be interested to see what happens over there. Inflection price notes, I'm going to put in 246. And I'm also going to put 255 just in case it opens up at 255. Notes, earnings, good. Looking for a long move if stock can hold support or break out and hold above 255 cleanly. Bullish above 245/246, bullish above 255. Okay, so that's WD-40. WD-40. Surprisingly enough, I actually asked my friend a question about, lubing weapons like guns. If you are someone who plays video games or shoots guns or whatever, I've shot guns before. I've just never lubed the gun before, or like cleaned the gun app for wear and tear before. But so I was asking a buddy of mine who actually owns weapons, and I was asking him, so what kind of lubricants work for weapons? What kind of oil do you have to use for it? And can you use WD-40? And he was saying no, WD-40 is suggested not to, but you can use like vegetable oil or like other oil. Just depends on what kind of price you want to use. So yeah, pretty interesting story over there from last night. WD-40, we were talking about it last night, and today it's earnings move. How crazy that is. Let's go to the next stock over here on our watch list. Is going to be Unity. Unity comes from, I believe, the CNBS, sorry, that's what it is. The CNBS watch list, because they moved up or moved down, sorry. They moved down about 8% or something on a downgrade, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to find it. There we go. The gaming technology company dropped 8% Monday after announcing that it's cutting 25,000 people, 25% of its workforce. We talked about this a couple of days ago, or I think last week or a week or two before that, about how this news catalyst is actually turning into a bearish trade now instead of being a bullish trade. When the market conditions were bad, when interest rates were higher, when inflation was higher, where everyone was thinking that companies were going bankrupt left and right, and anytime a company actually announced layoffs, they were going higher because it looks good on them that they are trying to save some money, especially in a high inflationary period, in a high interest rate period. But now that interest rates are going down, or at least they're getting ready to go down with interest rate cuts, with inflation kind of coming down at least to Fed's levels and whatever, this catalyst of companies cutting down workforce, which originally gave the stock a nice little boost in the after hours and a pre-market hold of these areas, but you're now seeing that this catalyst is actually ends up being a little bit more bearish than bullish. So now bad news might actually be bad, and good news might be actually good. At least that's what we're seeing. We have to kind of see if it continues to play out that way. Unity, big move to the downside, 7-8% down today on Monday. Sorry, on Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, right? On Tuesday, let's see what kind of trade opportunities Unity can give us going into tomorrow. So $40. Weren't we at 40? Oh, I think we were at 40 in pre-market, right? Yeah, we were right around 40 in pre-market, opening up around 38 and just flushing to the downside. So 40 never really came into play today, and we actually took down this little low, this double bottom low, and made a little bit more move to the downside. So if there is a day two continuation on the stock, I think the stock could easily go right back to the earnings VWAP over here around $33-$32. So watch for a move down to 32 on Unity. I'm gonna put 33 as my support, 33 area as my support, and we're gonna go right back into the 5-minute chart here and see how the stock basically consolidated. Look at this tight range over here. We'll be interested to see how the stock behaves on that range high around 36 to 36.50 area to see what happens. And then a little bit above that, we have right around 37, which is another area of interest for me. I'm just gonna put some notes over here for myself. Infliction, I think it's gonna be the low of today, 35.50. As if the stock is technically, you want to see the stock in pre-market opening below 35.50, then kind of making the pop into 36, rejecting 36, giving you a chance to get short 36 and then flushing. But if the stock is opening up in above 35.50, creating a base above 35.50, just like it has been doing so all day today, that might just be bullish, because the bigger the base, the higher in space. Maybe that only matters to I'm gonna stick to it. The bigger the base, the higher in space. So if this is holding this area all day tomorrow up till 12 o'clock, there is no real short, in my opinion, until we get under this level. So 35.50 is that inflection for me. Notes. Stock sold off on employee cut news. Looking for day two continuation. Continuation. Bearish below 35.50. Bearish below. I'm just gonna put bearish. Yeah, bearish overall. As long as the stock can show us some good moves to the downside. Let's go to the next stock over here on the watch list. We are going to CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike actually moved up today on a upgrade, if I remember correctly. Yes, 2% up move to the north side in pre-market on a Morgan Stanley upgrade. From that 2%, they ended up going another 3%, or sorry, another 4% to the north side. No. This was 2%. They ended up going overall another 3% on top of that 2% to the north side today, CrowdStrike. So looking to see if the stock could bring in more moves to the north side tomorrow off of this upgrade. Taking out a very significant key level on the daily chart. Wow, why did I not know about that? Oh, that sucks. Well, that really sucks because, had I known that we took out a pretty significant level on the daily chart, this stock would have been on my radar a little bit more. And after it consolidates in such a beautiful way here, that breakout was possible. Longs in this area were possible. So many trades were possible for us to take good, profitable trades on CrowdStrike. So tomorrow, day 2, I'm going to be honest with you, stocks catalyst is not that great. It's just a simple upgrade from Morgan Stanley. Yes, tech stocks are going up. Yes, AI stocks are going up. Maybe this goes along with it and has a little bit of a day 2 move. Today can be constructed as a day 1 move because we broke out of a solid level, and this was continuation basically of the earnings move. Ever since earnings, we popped up, it brought back down a little bit to the earnings VWAP, and then bouncing right off the earnings VWAP, a little bit, not right off the earnings VWAP. We held the earnings VWAP for 3 days after pulling back, and then comes in a move right back into the high of day, and then comes in the upgrade, which takes it a little bit higher for that. So monster moves over here for CrowdStrike. Let's see if the stock can pull back, show some support in front of 262, and if it is cleanly holding 262 or anywhere higher than 262, I think that is good enough for me to look for a long over here on this stock. This area 267 is also something that I might be interested to see as a support. 262 was the first number, 267 was the second number for myself. 267 is also this indicator. Okay, for the resistances, we'll just kind of watch today's high, which is what, 276.57. 276.50, we'll just put that. Inflection will basically be that 262, 267 areas. I don't want to see the stock kind of below even today's low, 265. But if we are under 265, then 262, kind of, you can wait to see what happens at 262. But honestly, if we're under 265, it's like, okay, is the long not really in play? I think that's what happens in my mind if 265 is not holding at the very least. So we're watching. My bias is bullish. Looking for a day 2 play. Looking for a day 2 play after stock breaks the 52-week high. After stock not breaks, because then if I read that, I'll think that it's not breaking yet, and I need to get ready for that. So stock broke 52-week high yesterday. Okay, inflection, I'm gonna leave that section blank for now. Real quick, let me just color my trades. WDFC is going to go blue. Unity is going to go orange because that's a high priority trade for me. CrowdStrike is going to go orange because that's a high priority trade for me. For those of you wondering, this is what I'm doing. I'm just coloring my trades into blue or orange colors. So that way, when tomorrow morning pre-market, load them up, I see what stocks are moving in the volume scanner, and if the stocks in the volume scanner have a lot of volume and they're on my watch list too, then I just quickly trade those ones, or I plan for those ones, revamp my levels, revamp my plan a little bit according to what the stock is doing in pre-market, and then get ready to trade them. Hello, Mr. Prad. Can I have the link to the Discord server? Thanks. It is right down below in the description, my friend, or you can do !Discord to get yourself the link. Feel free. Right down below in the description, or you can use the command in chat. All right. The next stock up here on the board is PayPal. PayPal I thought was a downgrade. Yeah, PayPal dipped about 2% after a downgrade to equal weight from Morgan Stanley over concerns tied to PayPal's sluggish rollout of new initiatives. Basically saying they're slacking, they're being slow, they are not it, they are not him. I mean, yeah, PayPal has been struggling for quite some time now, let's be real. It doesn't work, Mr. Prad. What doesn't work? The Discord link? What are you talking about? If I click right now and it pulls up the Discord, or I'll do it in your face. Watch this. Oh, I got 13 people watching me. Yay. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. Where's the Discord link? Oh, right here. You click that. TraderPrad. That's my logo. Continue the Discord. Yeah, see, it works. It works. Or you can do exclamation mark Discord in chat. Exclamation mark Discord in chat will also get you the link. It works. You're good. All right. Let's go to the next stock over here. PayPal, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, PayPal, obviously a little bit of a whatever move today. Inside candle. The catalyst that the stock had, which was a downgrade, didn't really affect it too much. I mean, if the catalyst was really strong, it should have made somewhat of a move like CrowdStrike made, right? So PayPal over here, I'm just gonna skirt past this trade unless it's bringing up some volume tomorrow, then we can talk about it. But besides that, nothing too interesting. RKLB, this stock, I'm not really talking about this for a trade, but I'm just gonna bring this up for a couple key points over here. The main point is I've been watching this TV show on not on Netflix, but on Apple TV. It's called For All Mankind. It's a pretty good show in my opinion. It's about what would happen if the Soviet Union were first to Mars, or sorry, were first to Moon, and how America kind of revolutionizes this whole space program, and a lot of other companies step in. You also get to see kind of the privatization of the space program and NASA. They kind of tie like real life news events that took place way back in the day regarding space and everything, along with a lot of a fiction. So non-fiction, fiction kind of mixed together to make this big TV show about space, rocket science. It's fun. It's fun. I like the show very much. I'm on the last season right now and I love it. The point I'm trying to get to though is I think RKLB could be something to invest in for like the long run out there, because this company is actually catching some traction nowadays. They're getting contracts. They were IPO not too long ago. I think this was a reverse merger, or no, it was a reverse merger if I remember correctly. They were a SPAC before and then they reverse mergered. I think that's what it was. And then sold off quite a bit. The stock has been getting a lot of contracts, and I do believe they will eventually, one day be one of those big companies that like the TV show talks about, right? Like the TV show kind of makes it happen. So RKLB, Rocket Labs USA, not something to keep eyes away from. Today, I think that was the exact catalyst, which is, they got an upgrade by Deutsche Bank that got a lot of government contracts are building up, and they might get a lot more for building satellites and so on. And they might work with even, what's its face? They might even work with SpaceX eventually somewhere down the road, even though SpaceX is basically very self-funding and very self-reliant. They don't really need too much help from other people. But I like what RKLB is doing right now. I'm going to do a lot more research on them. But I think RKLB is going to be my dog for the long run. Might just have to think about buying some shares somewhere around these prices, because this is juicy areas for myself. And look, if the stock goes to zero from $5, goes to zero, right? It's non-financial advice. Everything on the stream, you can see in the disclaimer, non-financial advice. Next stock over here, actually interested to trade it, which is UAL. Oh man, invalid invite might have expired is what it is saying. That's because you might have got banned or kicked from the from the Discord. What did you do? Were you previously on the Discord? If you previously were on the Discord, you might have been banned or kicked for doing something, because the invite link's working for everybody. Let me try to create a new invite link for you. Hold up. Who the hell is Trader Alpha? Where do I get the invite code? Oh, I don't have an invite code for this? What the fudge? Copy. There you go. Made a new code just for you. Have fun. Then I'll find out if you were banned or you know, after you join. I'll find out. I'll find out who you are. Okay, UAL, the next stock on board. We were talking about UAL, American Airlines, and a bunch of other airlines in general. Let's just talk about the Jets ETF, because UAL and American Airlines look exactly the same, and Jets ETF kind of in the same basket. You can get a whole idea of it. UAL and AAL are around a very significant level on the daily chart, which they could break out of and run up north, or push into, reject, and push back down. Kind of like exactly what the Jets ETF is doing. So you kind of want to see what happens on... Jesus, I can't breathe. You kind of want to see what happens on UAL right around that price. What, $44 or so? So I'll put resistance $44 on UAL. And on American Airlines, it's around $14.50. $14.65. $14.65. So gotta wait and see what happens. If you were patient today, you would see that the stock pushed into $14.55 or 65, sorry, right off the open, failed, pushed back down. Later on in the day, after kind of creating a base at $14.50, pushes back to $14.65, fails again, and pushes straight back to the downside. So American Airlines was the trade to be involved in. UAL kind of did the same thing. I have to go clear my nose, guys. I can't breathe right now. I'm actually dying. Hold up. Holy guy, my mucus. Oh, I can breathe now, but for how long? Let's see. Jesus. All right. So UAL did break out of that area a little bit, but then came right back down, slightly under it. So UAL, AAL, very interested to see what happens over here. JetBlue on the other side of UAL and AAL, they actually had, if I remember, a downgrade. Yeah, Bank of America downgrading them, pointing towards a tough outlook for domestic airlines. Okay. Okay, so JetBlue over here. Not sure why JetBlue is the only one that's getting hurt. Is American Airlines international, whereas JetBlue is only domestic? Is that why? Because JetBlue and United Airlines are not really getting hurt, right? So maybe domestic, meaning JetBlue, Frontier, Spirit. Is Delta getting hurt? Not really. Whoa, look at Delta over here. Delta taking off. I usually call Delta Dallas, but Delta taking off, kind of pushing into that 43 area. Let's just put Delta also on this watch list real quick. 43, 4270/43. And JetBlue going right back to JetBlue here. Big down move with the downgrade, obviously. So a little bit of a sell-off. But noticing all other airliners, this one's kind of on the opposite side over here. So I might just stay away unless all airlines are selling off. If all airliners are selling off, then I might be interested in JetBlue. JetBlue is also not near that solid price that I kind of want to short at, whereas there you go, I screwed up again. Delta, American Airlines, and UAL are kind of walking into that beautiful level, so we'll see what happens on those stocks and those prices. Color blue for all those ones. And I might just delete JetBlue from my watch list because I don't really need that one for tomorrow. JetBlue. We'll leave JetBlue just in case it shows some trade. Now here comes the fun sector, but before we go there, let me see what's Iori is saying. Invalid invite for some reason. I just created a new invite for you and it still says invalid. You made it. Okay, yeah, that's crazy because I just made a new invite for you. It should not say invalid after I just made a new invite. Let me just show you guys real quick though, because most of you probably don't know how to do this yet. A lot of you are verified on our server, but you don't have the right roles. So after you verify yourself, make sure you go to the channel that says React for Roles. Click on this button. If you don't click on this button, you will not see the server and all the fun stuff that we have going. You can also get some extra fun activities, extra fun roles by clicking on over here. But this is the main one. If you don't click this main one, you will not get all the chat rooms and all the fun stuff that we do on our Discord. So make sure you enable your account properly if you have not already. If you're only a verified username and not a stock market username, your username should show up in green on the Discord. If it doesn't show up in green, you did not set up your account properly. And if you need help, feel free to contact me. Now, going to all that craziness that's happening with Bitcoin at the moment. I mean, tomorrow, obviously, a pretty important day. I'm not sure if it's the end of the day or somewhere during the day. I hope it's somewhere during the day because that can give us a trade intraday and hopefully a big trade intraday on Coinbase, Riot, and Mara. At the moment, I think, this is a very news-based trade. Anything could happen at any moment tomorrow. You could be long and on a second, the stock could come out with a negative news and flush the downside, and you could be long tomorrow, and within a second a news could come out and make your trade, make your day, make your year on the stock. That's great, but that sounds like gambling to me because we don't know the news. There's going to be other people who know the news way before us. If you don't know the news and you're just trying to YOLO your bank account, do you. I'm not going to stop you, nor can I, right? All I can do is advise you not to be an idiot, not to be a moron who goes out there and YOLOs on this news play that's coming out tomorrow. What we can do is kind of be ready for whatever happens, and then when it happens, react to it, right? At the same time, don't be too heavy on these trades, in my opinion, on Riot, on Mara, on Coinbase. We don't know what time they're going to announce this. It could be at 4 o'clock like it was today. It could be at 12 o'clock. It could be at 9 o'clock in the morning. Nobody knows shit. So be very careful when you're trading these stocks tomorrow. This is going to be a hot sector. I'm 100% sure they will have a lot of volume throughout the day. I mean, these stocks have been having a lot of volume for quite some time now. I mean, Mara bringing in almost 100 million shares every single day. Coinbase not really bringing in 100 million and whatnot. But yeah, it's a very hot sector. They've been moving pretty drastically. So got to keep our eyes peeled for these positions. Going to the next stock over here, Boeing. Boeing, big sell-off on the original news that the Alaskan Airlines flight grounded and everything, but on the day itself, the intraday trade was just buy. The next day, it does go back down a little bit, but the intraday trade was buy. So not really too interested at this moment, honestly, for any shorts on Boeing. It's just like, okay, I get it. This company's too big to fail. There's only two companies really making airliners for commercial reasons: Airbus, Boeing. Name another big company out there who's making, airliners for commercial. Zero. Maybe Douglas. Is Douglas still a company that makes flights? Does Douglas Aviation still make flights? Oh, they defunct it? What? Okay, never mind. 1967, even before I was born, bro. Fate merged with McDonald. What? So you merged and you died? Oh, and then this merged with Boeing. Ah. That's pretty interesting. Okay. So Boeing is basically Douglas. Wait, I think I remember this. I remember this now because I saw that Boeing documentary. Yeah, that Boeing documentary on Netflix. They kind of talk about Douglas Aviation and then McDonnell merging and Boeing kind of buying them out and everything. Yeah, okay, yeah, I remember this. I remember this. So, hold up. Bombardier doesn't make commercial airlines. Shut up. They make like private. That looks private. Lockheed Martin makes like F-18 fighters. That looks private. Never heard of this in my life. That looks private. Gulfstream's private. Cessnas are like shitty propeller airplane flights. Right? So the only two companies are really Boeing. And I like how Boeing's picture is like a F-80, F-22 Raptor, whereas that should be for Lockheed Martin. And for Lockheed Martin, the picture is an Airbus, whereas for Airbus, the picture is a Lockheed Martin jet. Who makes this website? Like, who makes this shit? What's wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Lockheed Martin picture gets an Airbus. Airbus gets a Lockheed Martin Raptor. Boeing gets a stealth fighter. What's wrong with people? All right, anyways, the whole idea is, guys, I am very, very weary of the shorts on Boeing after seeing these 2 days of action. There could be more selling on here. I'm just a little weary. I have no bias. Basically, what I'm getting down to is I have zero bias on Boeing going into tomorrow after seeing how the day 1 traded and seeing how day 2 traded. So going into the trade tomorrow without any bias is probably the best way to trade this. And in my notes, I'm just going to put possible anchor AVWAP pinch play question mark, and that would be I need to see the stock coming back between the 2-day VWAP, which is day 1 VWAP, and then yesterday's VWAP. And kind of see if it can trade between this range and then break out to the north side, or trade between this range and then break down to the south side. Then only will I be interested to kind of get into a trade. If it's just trading between today's close and today's VWAP, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. WBA. We didn't really trade the stock today. Let's see how it moved. I guess it sold off, you know, day 1, day 2, day 3. We tried to short it on day 1 and day 2. We got beat up. Day 3, we went long and we made money, basically made up for those 2 days. But now, as we expected, day 4 to be a nothing burger. That's exactly how it ended up being. So now we just got to let the stock settle down a little bit, figure out what it wants to do. Because this is where the stock was before earnings came out. On earnings, it sold off drastically, and now it's right back into that price where it was before it sold off, before the earnings came out. So now the question is, the stock needs to, you know, get some time to figure out what it wants to do. If it wants to go back into 27, then we can decide over there. If it wants to get above 25.50 and hold above 25.50, possible trade into 26 and then higher than 26 into 27. So there are some couple trades over here. I rather just wait at 27, right? It's just much easier of a trade for me if I just wait all the way up here, at which point we can see if there's buying coming in or if there's selling coming in, and then make a trade. So I'm just going to put that alert and walk away. Crocs. Forgot to take a look at this one. Had an inside day, basically. Pretty much an inside day. Tried to take out yesterday's high and failed right off the open. Tried to take out yesterday's high. Did not manage to even push. I guess that's close enough, right? Yesterday's high was 140.82. Today's high was 104, basically 82 cents away from yesterday's high. Tried to go there, failed. That should have been a pretty easy short from there all the way back to the 101, 100 area. Now the question is, what happens in front of 100? Can the stock show support? That was today's low. If there is support building into the 100, then this move is validated, and we should have a nice move right back into today's high and maybe even a little bit higher than today's high for some buying action and some fun longs. But if the 100 doesn't hold, which looks like it doesn't want to, we could possibly see some good retracement back onto Crocs to the downside over here, maybe somewhere right back into the 90s. So watch out for that 100. That inflection is that 100 area, and for me, bullish above 100, bearish below 100. As simple as that. QS, this one actually moved around quite a bit. Insane moves on QS at one point in the day today, but then later on, just big sell-off after making that move. So the stock manages to get above 9. It tries to hold above 9, but then big sell-off right at 950, 960, taking it right back to being negative on the day. I think this solidifies that the stock has a lot more selling action coming in. We saw this happen on the second day over here after making that big move. The stocks really struggled to get above 950. That's kind of where we got beat up. We tried to go long over here at 860 and we lost on that trade. But now the question is, you know, can we I don't really see a trade. I think for me, let the stock kind of move around still. Is buying still showing up even after seeing that there's big seller at 10 and a big seller at 960, 950 area? Or is there still buying coming in at 8? If so, then okay, something crazy is going on QS. But if there is no buying coming in above 8, easy short to the downside on QS. So support 8, resistance 950 to $10. Inflection is basically 8 for me. If stock can hold 8, bullish. No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. QS, I'm just gonna leave you on the blue color scheme. Blue. Ooh, this one's a fun stock. At least it was if you were keeping a track of it, right? I was keeping a track of the stock, but I did not recognize where it was on the level. In pre-market, I saw it pop up on my watch list, and I was like, Urban. I'm not going to trade Urban Outfitters when Coinbase is like the #1 trade of the day for me. At least I thought it would be, right? I'm not going to trade Urban Outfitters. So I kind of ignored it. Made a big mistake later on in the day when I pulled back to the stock to kind of see why is the stock even in play. Let me just revamp this one a little bit. Whoa, what the fudge? There we go. So why was the stock kind of in play is you can see how this double top, triple top, quadruple top came into play on the stock for multiple times. Reject. Today, all of a sudden, a big move to the north side, actually off the open, holds that double top, triple top area and gives you a beautiful long right off of that range. Look at that. Gives you clean consolidation and a nice move to the north side. So if we come back into this area tomorrow, let's call it 37, 82 to 38 area support, 37, 82 to 38 area support. If we can pull back down, I mean, we're pretty much in that area right now. If we can still show support in these prices of 38, I think there's another long over here, or at least a long right back into $40 for tomorrow to be involved in. And I'll be watching Urban Outfitters pretty closely tomorrow because it's going to be labeled as an orange color trade, which is a high priority trade for me. Bullish if stock can cleanly hold 38 again like it did yesterday. Okay, now this one is not really a stock that I'm looking forward to trade at all tomorrow. You guys know how much I don't really care about Peloton. Peloton, also another point to kind of bring up over here, that 650 area. We were talking about how we need to see 650 holding. 650 did not hold. Off the open, Peloton did make a beautiful run into $7. Rejects 7, comes back to 650. Looks like it's going to hold 650. Does not hold 650 and pushes all the way back into 6. You could say, Prad, since you hate Peloton, why don't you go short now? There's too much nonsense in this range. Way too much nonsense in this range. I wanted the short at 650. I'm not going to get that chance. Maybe the stock pops into 650 tomorrow and then we can have a chance at 650. But there's way too many stocks that are on board that are way more in play. For example, even Urban Outfitters is way more in play tomorrow than Peloton is at the moment, because Urban Outfitters level, even CrowdStrike, right? Some of these levels that are coming into play for some of these stocks makes it way more interesting than Peloton. But quick little note, I said the same thing about Coinbase yesterday, and you saw how choppy Coinbase was and how chopped up I got. So we don't really know until it happens, which is at 9:30. Only God knows. All right. Coin went wild after the close. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, Bitcoin, the whole Bitcoin ETF approval craziness kind of took Coin to the upside and probably right back to the downside in the after hours. So I don't doubt it at all. Let me see. Yeah, look at that. Up and down, right back. All right. Now, guys, last but not least, we have the wonderful large cap basket over here. Apple, Amazon, AMD, Microsoft, Meta, Google, Nvidia, Netflix, Tesla, QQQ, S&P 500, and the IWM to talk about. So let's go check that out. But before we do, I'm going to take a quick water break, and I'm going to hit you with an advertisement. BRB. Hey, you there. Yeah, you with the Manscaped shirt. Are you tired of decoding the stock market? Are you looking like this guy, always lost after every single day? Well, look no further. Today, we got a brand new offer for you from TraderSync. This software will help you identify exactly where you're losing, where you're winning, and how to maximize your profits. Use code PRAD15 at the checkout. If you start journaling your trades, you will start trading better and you will start looking like this guy. So what are you waiting for? Go on out there, go get yourself a TraderSync discount, use code PRAD15, and they also have a Black Friday sale going on with 65% off. Don't be late. All right, welcome back. Thank you for sticking around for that little sponsor. Make sure you go check out TraderSync. That's what I use to track all my trades, all my statistics. It helps me perfectly, especially when I'm making my review at the end of the week. I do weekly reviews of my trading, and sometimes you can forget, and when I take a look at those stats, very detailed, very cleanly tells me where I made money, where I lost money, what stock is my best, what stock is my worst, how long have I been holding a trade, where am I making money according to time of the day, where am I making money according to volume, according to price, all that information being displayed very cleanly, very beautifully on a beautiful platform called TraderSync. Go check them out, and thank you TraderSync for sponsoring this stream. Now, let's go to the last few stocks over here we have, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start off with the large cap ETF, QQQ, for the tech sector. QQQ, as we talked about earlier on in the day, had a monster green, red to green day, right? Moving from being red on the day, going to being green on the day, all ending point 2 up, but still not moving to... I guess that's not a real level. That's not a level anymore. We'll skirt past that. We'll come back to that thought process later. But yeah, good red to green move, showing you that there's still buyers in the market. QQQ had a monster move yesterday. It looked like it could kind of sell off today, but we got above the FOMC VWAP that we were talking about. We held above the FOMC VWAP. We got above yesterday's high. We held yesterday's high after getting above yesterday's high. So a lot of reasons over here to think more bullish on the market, because buyers are here, ladies and gentlemen. Buyers are here. You're seeing stocks like Nvidia go to all-time highs. You're seeing Tesla try to also join that party, but Tesla actually got slapped quite a bit today. Slapped quite a bit, sadly. But yeah, Google trying to go to the north side. Google at 141. Amazon at 150, 151 or something. Yeah, 150, 140. So all of these stocks are going crazy. Thank you to the buyers who are in the market at the moment. They are very, very excited to soak up all of these shares, apparently. And if that's the case, just join the party. Just join the party. Have fun. I don't think QQQ has hit its all-time high yet. Did it? Oh, it did. QQQ did hit its all-time high. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so QQQ did hit its all-time high not too long ago, but S&P 500 still quite a bit of ways away from its all-time high. And I guess not quite a bit, but it's still a couple points away from its all-time high over here. We haven't tested that level yet. The SPY is also weaker on the day today. It actually still ended up being red instead of going green like QQQ. So let's see if the QQQ can carry SPY on its back and keep on marching up and taking all of these positions like Google even higher. I mean, monster move on Google. We'll be very interested to see if there's a day 2 long on Google, a day 2 long on Meta, a day 2 long on Nvidia. Nvidia, you can call this basically a day 3 long, right? Day 3 long. Yesterday was a monster move to the north side. Today, another monster move to the north side. Let's see if a day 3 long comes into play tomorrow where we can buy some dip buys. Very, very interested to see if that opportunity opens up on Nvidia, and let's see if Tesla can start getting caught up over here instead of just getting absolutely pummeled and plummeted to the downside. Right now we are holding anchored VWAP from the earnings, which was a red earnings catalyst, if I remember. Yeah, red earnings. We sold off, but now we are holding above the earnings anchored VWAP, so maybe it's time for Tesla to stop lagging and start jogging up north. Real quick, I also want to show you Microsoft going right back into this beautiful level of 371 to 377. Let's see if we got above 371 today, the lower day 371, but can we take out 377 and now go right back into the all-time high of 380s? So that's another opportunity over there on Microsoft. So make sure you're watching Microsoft. AMD 150s coming into play. Yeah, look at that. 151, 150 AMD. That's another level that's you have to kind of keep an eye out for. I think I talked about everything but Netflix. Let me quickly talk about Netflix over here. I think Netflix today also came out with its own catalyst, which was a downgrade. Yes, shares of the streaming giant slipped less than 1% following a downgrade by Citi to neutral from buy. The bank said Wall Street has lofty expectations from Netflix, but the company faces potential risks, including revenue estimates that may be too damn high. For anyone who knows that meme. Okay, anyways, moving on. Too damn high, right? So the expectations are way too high apparently for this streaming giant, and that's gonna stop it most likely from going into that $500 area. But if 500 comes into play, you see how tech is going up north at the moment. Even with that negative catalyst, Netflix only down 0.6 on the day, had pretty much an inside day with yesterday. A beautiful inside day after yesterday's move. So if Netflix can start getting back above 480, 490, do you really think we're not going to 500? Right? So I'm pretty interested to see what happens on Netflix on the move up over here into 500. AMD, I think we said, what, 150, 150, was it? AMD daily chart, please. What is that level? 151. Amazon, I would like to see what happens back on 150. Google, I would like to see what happens on the way back down to 140. Microsoft, 377. And then support 371 / 370. Apple did have a pretty good day to the north side today, but it was basically an inside day with yesterday. Apple also has been a lot weaker compared to its peers because of its lower iPhone sales and lower Apple product sales in general expectations, that, or at least article that came out recently. So Apple over here waiting to see if Apple can kind of regain some of this move back up north. Somewhere around 185 would be possible key interest area for me on Apple. 185, 186, which are levels that I remember trading Apple very much around. So that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is your tech basket and all the trades that we will possibly be interested in for tomorrow. So if you are looking to get access to my watch list, it's unfinished yet. I'm gonna once we go offline, I'm gonna kind of make some adjustments to my watch list over here, put some notes in, delete some stocks from here that are blank and I don't really think I'll be trading them tomorrow, or if I think I'll be trading them, but I don't really know what I want to do with them just yet, I'll leave them in and I'll revamp them in pre-market. So if you want to sign up for this watch list, you can do so by supporting me on Patreon, or you can just rewatch the stream tomorrow morning and get an idea of what stocks I'm kind of taking a look at. Now, tomorrow's economic calendar. Not really too exciting for us. There's nothing that's really 3 stars that's going to move the market until 1 o'clock. Ignore that 3 star. This is for US oil inventories. Ignore this one. This is Jesus Christ. This is for the U.S. oil inventories that's coming out at 10:30. This one doesn't really make or break our trades unless you're trading stocks like XOM, Oxy, crude futures, U.S. oil, or something like that. This one will matter to us. So I don't really care about the crude oil crude oil inventory numbers. But the 10-year auction, that's an important number over there. That comes out at 1 o'clock tomorrow. This is going to be the bond rates. So bonds gonna help move the market either to one side or the other, especially in the current environment of the market's in. I think this number will be watched very closely by a lot of traders, by a lot of hedge fund managers and so on. So 1 o'clock, pretty important decision to see what happens on the market. Besides that, the market's pretty dead, or at least the economic calendar is pretty dead for tomorrow. So we don't have to worry about 8:30, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. No, it's just 1 o'clock that we have to worry about. Just 1 o'clock, thankfully. Besides that, I think honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have anything else to talk about today. I don't really have anything else left. So if you have anything that you want to put in the chat, if you want me to take a look at any stocks, if you want me to take a look at any YouTube videos specifically, feel free to throw them in over there in the chat and we'll take a look at it. Until then, I have this video that I'll probably be getting ready for us, queuing up for us to see if we can watch it. Wait, did I did not. I did not post the video from yesterday. Okay, I have to do that. Let me just make a reminder here real quick. Hold up. Reminder. Can you remind me to clip the SMB react from stream 2 days ago and also from the stream yesterday at 1 p.m. tomorrow? I don't need you to search, dumbass. Set a reminder tomorrow, 1 p.m. Clip SMB Capital React videos from yesterday's stream and the day before that.
Sure, I'll remind you.
Thank you. Okay, tomorrow 1 p.m. You'll remind me to do that and I'll be ready for that one. All right, guys, today's video, something that will actually... We've been waiting for a video like this, so I'm excited to see what this video talks about. Let's go watch our trusty friends at SMB Capital. Spend about 20-30 minutes with these guys and then we can wrap it up for the night. If you guys feel like it's time for you to call it, make sure to hit the like and subscribe if you think I deserve it, and I will see you guys tomorrow. If you want to stick around and watch this video with me, stay along and let's chat. All right,
scalping strategies.
Whoa, turn that off. Pause, go here, put this one loud, turn it down on my headphones so that way I don't go deaf. All right, so this video over here, where is it? This video over here is talking about scalping strategies. I really want to get into scalping. I want to personally learn how to scalp better, how to scan for stocks that to scalp better, and make a playbook out of it. I really want to make a good playbook of scalping. So hopefully this video can help us with that. Let's go watch it. Shout out to SMB Capital.
You're about to learn two specific scalping strategies that we trade on our desk, which helped one of our traders transform his trading and his entire trading career. This will open your eyes to the potential profits scalping can produce. I'm Mike Bellafiore, and we're one of the top proprietary trading firms located in New York City and proud to develop new...
Isn't that where the Private Sully landed?
7 and even 8
Captain Sully landed in the river, Hudson River?
Learn from a professional trader on our desk so you can grow your trading account.
There are 3 key concepts you have to master if you want to effectively scalp. The first one is just pick 2 things to be great at. So picking 2 very specific things to be great at. What this meant for a trader that inspired this entire video was actually 2 specific trades. And what he found fit him best was 2 specific scalps. So that's why we're talking about scalping here. We'll get this to the specifics of these exact scalps in a minute, but the key was he just picked 2 of them and then he stuck with them. So if you're asking yourself the question, what do you pick to be great at? How do I even start? Here are some common themes that you look for. So you look for something with a reason for real world edge. So why does this scalp exist based on the participants, those other traders that are involved? You also look for something with a decent number of occurrences each week. We think about 16 to 20 occurrences at a minimum. Here's why. So most traders on the desk, most professional traders actually, look for trades in about 1 of 3 ideas they actually look at. So if you look at 3 stocks, 3 decent ideas, right? They might actually only feel like 1 of those 3 actually fit their trading business. The trading business being a combination of catalyst, setup, and trade that they have edge in. So just 1 in 3. So out of that 1, there tends to be about 3 trades that they're looking at potentially for that 1 decent idea. A lot of times it's 3 different, but like actually kind of insanely similar versions of the same trade, even the same scalp. Out of those 3, most traders will only press the keys. They'll only take action on 1 of those 3. So that math shows us that for every 1 trade where we actually press the keys, there are 4 ideas that we pass up on. 2 in stock selection and then 2 in trade selection. So you need about 16 to 20 examples of a week to look at. So once he picked those 2 things to be great at, and for this trader, again, 2 defined price action scalps. But by doing this, he focused on these 2 things, and he found that he could reduce his risk per trade down to about 5 to 10% of his daily stop limit. So let's talk about 10%. By getting 10 to 20 of those scalps each week and looking for at least a kind of 2 to 1 risk reward, he had amazingly killer edge in his trading. Here's generally what it looked like for him. So let's assume a 60% win rate on 10 occurrences a week. If his daily stop's $1,000 to start and he's risking $100 per trade, again, risking 10% of his daily stop, he's making $1,200 on the 6 winners and losing $400 on the 4 losers, netting him $800 per week, which is just under a daily stop. He does that for 2 weeks and he makes a stop and a half. Time for a risk bump. His new daily stop is now $1,500. Now let's repeat the math. He's moving forward with this new stop, 60% win rate.
I mean, this is all cool, but what's the scalping strategy?
Of a stop, $1,800 in winners, $600 in losers, netting him $1,200 on the week.
He's kind of making people understand who don't understand this. He's dumbing it down. I get it, but I don't need to see this part. I understand this part very
Now your daily stop
clearly,
is
very
5
easily.
winners of your daily stop each day.
Okay.
So this sort of risk plan was a hugely important factor in our trader, the trader that inspired this entire video.
Okay. I got that part.
In accepting how powerful this sort of growth can be. And we've seen it from our desk, but we felt like it was really important to show. And even then, we still need a second key here to be able to help us execute in that way. Our second key is get your timing right.
Okay.
It doesn't get talked about enough, but all of us live it every day as traders. It really should get more focus since it's kind of one of the toughest things to get right in trading. So instead of just talk about it being challenging, let's talk about how people do specific things to get their timing right.
Okay.
There are 2 elements to timing on our desk, the things that we talk about the most. Mental capital is important to preserve and save it until there are specific opportunities that are presented.
Yeah.
The best way
I agree with that statement very much, because today, like, there were very good opportunities that came in later on in the day, but I already blew my mental capital on Coinbase, on Boeing right off the open, to the point where I was a little tilted. So me recognizing I was tilted, I kind of said, you know what, I'm not trading any of these momentum-based stocks anymore. I'm going to go to an old setup that actually has proven to make me money time and time again. I'm going to go to that old setup and I'm going to smack the shit out of that setup, and I'm going to only trade that setup all day, which helped me and also helped me not tilt for the rest of the day. But that made me give up on a lot of good opportunities, like taking that Google long back through 150, taking that 140, taking that Amazon long back through 150. So mental capital, very, very important. Gotta preserve it. If you're blowing your load at 9:30, 9:35, 9:50, 10 o'clock, then when the good trades are showing up at 10, 10:30, 11, you're not taking them because you're already down on the day. Your mental capital is shot. You don't have enough confidence left. You think every trade you're going to get into is going to be a loser, right? So you got to preserve that mental capital. Very, very good point over there.
Way to preserve your mental capital, to get your timing right, is to think about that 4 ideas to 1 trade. So you're preserving your mental capital by just not over investing in anything. There's this old quote that says, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. It's like this really nice...
That's not Michael Scott. That that's Michael... Oh, it says who it's by, and then Michael Scott wrote it again all over on top of that. He put Wayne Gretzky in quotes, and he put Michael Scott on top of that. How am I just seeing this? I used to see Office a lot, and I'm just seeing this. That's jokes.
100% of the shots you don't take. It's like this really nice quote, but it's actually really misinterpreted. You actually miss 100% of the great shots you don't take.
Yes.
You absolutely should miss 100% of the bad shots that you don't take. Those only set up the good shots. So in order to preserve your mental capital, just by doing this, by passing up on the bad shots, you're going to get yourself into really good shots. The more important concept, and really the one that we have to talk about the most, is your physical capital, your financial capital. And you really only want to put it to work when even more edges are present, when things are stacked in your favor. So by passing on so many other lesser trade ideas and being really specific with our entry criteria, we're given the ability to size up our trading over time because we're passing on the lesser versions of the same trades, the same scalps. And we're only taking the best versions of the best. And we're letting those really set up and trigger for us. So let's start with a very simple scalping strategy, a strategy that's straightforward and it'll showcase our point.
Okay,
here's the
fun
scalp.
stuff. All right, let's see it.
Here are the basics of the Bella scalp.
The Bella Fiore.
A strong in-play stock that sells off kind of quickly on the open. Now, the scalp does happen in both directions. We're only going to talk about the long here. But this strong in-play stock sells off quickly on the open. Now, it doesn't just wick down, but it actually sells off. Like when the selling gets kind of almost sloppy, like forced. It's usually really, really clear on the tape, but even on the chart, you'll see the bars that just kind of feel like they're forced lower, like it should have bounced, but they're just kind of forced lower with those sellers getting a little sloppy. What's actually going on under the hood is an aggressive order, an aggressive sell order that's just kind of looking for liquidity. It has needs to get filled, and in order to get filled, it has to kind of press lower. The best part about this is, since it's a strong stock, when that order's done, the stock's natural strength will take over and it'll revert back to the upside. So all we're looking for in this scalp is that seller, that sloppy, urgent seller to lift. Because once they lift, our Bella Fade scalp starts. The easiest way to do this is on the chart, when we identify something selling off in this manner, we just draw a trend line and we just wait for the trend line to get broken. So once we have that trend line and then that trend line break, we're actually looking for 2 waves higher. We use the tape on this, so we're actually watching that seller press.
I need to rewind. I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
On this, so we're actually higher.
So he's drawing a trend line. Okay, this is a daily chart. No, it's not. I'm seeing intervals of 5 minutes here. This is a 5-minute chart. No, it's a 1-minute chart. Yeah, it's a 1-minute chart. Okay. So he's drawing a trend line off the open on the 1 minute.
Watching that seller press and press and press, and as soon as they lift, that's when we're entering the position. But you can use the chart as well, and you won't see the seller lift on the tape, but that's okay. You simply wait for that trend line break. And by waiting for that trend line break, before you're looking to catch those 2 waves higher, we're usually increasing our probability on the scalp, so it winds up being a decent balance there, whether you're using the tape or you're using the chart. Now, our stop for this is always 2 cents below the low of the day. We sell half into the first wave higher, that first rush higher, and pause. And then we sell the second half into our second wave higher, that rush higher, and then pause. It got its name, this scalp, the Bella Fade, got its name from Bella. He loves this scalp because it's very repeatable and it's very obvious when we get our entry. And usually the more specific the entry, the easier it is to get our timing right.
All right, let's
So
see
it's
how
just a
this would have
really
worked
simple-
on Coinbase today. Okay, let's try to apply what we just saw on Coinbase. Go to the 1 minute chart. Coinbase did sell off right off the open, right? Like, are you telling me I'm taking this long right there? I guess so, right? Once it goes back through and my stop is right there. Yeah, I already got stopped out. Woo! Right? So, I don't really know about the 1 minute line there. I don't really know about the 1 minute line there. This kind of makes more sense. 5 minute chart. You're seeing the trend go down. First green bar pop up. This is basically rejecting that trend line all the way down. Constant selling. Once that selling is done, the trend is broken. Then you got a beautiful long. That looks like a good scalp. Trend line breaking. You get long somewhere over here at 148.70. Your stop is at the low of the candle. Your first lot is somewhere over here once it stalls. Your second lot is out over here when it stalls. You could think about getting back in after it creates a higher low somewhere over here instead of going all the way back down. And you have a better long up over there. Actually, could have killed the long today on Coinbase. But yeah, I got killed instead. But yeah, looks like this. I think this is the 5. No, he's doing this on 1 minute, which is crazy to me. It worked out cool. You know, the example is
Cool
great, but
example.
I think I would not do it on the 1 minute. I would do it on the 5 minute.
Of a way to stack the timing in your favor.
I would do it on the
You
5
define
minute.
a criteria.
Maybe that's what they're kind of hiding from you, right? Because they don't want to reveal the whole information to you, right? If they do so, they're kind of ruining the edge for themselves. But they're giving you an idea over here. You make me do this on the 30 minute. Maybe do it on an hourly chart if you're a long-term trader, right? If you plan to hold your trades for an hour or more, if you plan to hold your trades for days or longer, use a day chart. So kind of get the idea that they're explaining. However, if you plan to hold your trade for a minute, you're not really trading, in my opinion. But I guess in that case, you're scalping because you don't really hold your trades for longer than 5 to 30 minutes, in my opinion. As a scalp, if you're scalping, you're in and out, quick, bang, right? Hit and run, you're out.
Wait, when that criteria is met, your timing's usually in the right place. Our third key is have a specific trade strategy. Have a trading edge. And what we really mean here is being efficient with your trading edge. So if you have an entry point that's shown up for you, right? So maybe you have one of the two scalps we're talking about.
Either that or they're
We talked
lying.
about
Yeah.
one, we'll talk about another in a minute. But you've picked your two things to be great at. You've defined your entries to get your timing right. But in order to really scalp super effectively, you need to have a risk point, a reasonable expected move,
Yeah, like a
and a shot clock.
like a
We're going to cover all three. So a
Okay.
risk point is
Yeah.
a risk from your entry,
like a
to
clear low
point
that you
on the
saw. Like
chart.
yeah, exactly. Like okay, so I'll just show you again. Like that risk point over here is that clear low where the stock has made and then bounced off of. So that clear low is your risk point. And he said 2 cents under this. How stupid would you feel if the stock went down to 146.92 and then went back up after you got in? How stupid would you feel, right? I think you put your stop at 146.89, even though you're long somewhere over here. You give it that proper risk and you get the proper reward reaped out of it, right? You reap what you sow. But according to that plan, you put it 2 cents under the last low. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not putting 2 cents under the last low. If my entry is somewhere here, like at 148, and I'm seeing the stock, okay, yeah, 148, And I'm seeing the stocks low as 147.11. I'm putting the stop under 147. Basically, yeah, probably even just 147 flat. Instead of putting 146.89, I'll probably just put it at 146.99. So if 147 breaks, I'm out of the trade. I don't want to hold it anymore. Right? You get the idea. But him saying just straight up, so easily saying 2 cents under that low, they're coming for your stops if you set it 2 cents under your low. I'm telling you right now, they're coming for your stops.
Based on the change that gave us our entry. You can see in our example, the change was when that seller lift, when that trend line got broken and the low was put in just before that.
Yeah. That's the risk point.
Determines our sizing. It doesn't determine anything else for us, but it helps us determine our sizing. Because in order for us to risk that $100 that we talked about with the trader in the example, we have to understand.
So basically, if you're getting in at 33 and your risk is 32.79, or he said 2 pennies, so let's say 78, right? You kind of do the math behind it. If I'm risking $100, the risk is about 20 cents over here. How much size can I take? And then blah, 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 blah. You just do the simple math.
So that risk point is going to determine our sizing. The risk
a scalp
point
can be 3 minutes or under. Trade is covered on price action, not the amount that's
we
time.
Can risk 10% of our daily stop right to that risk point. Then we need a reasonable expected move to set our profit target.
Yeah.
We talked about waves in the previous example. We'll use a measured move in an example that we're going to cover in a minute. But you need to have a reasonable expected move as a profit target. The
Market's saying, Prad, can you take a look at AMD? We already did earlier on in the day. I think AMD 151 area is interesting for me. Yilmaz is asking if we can take a look at ARM. Maybe after this video, we'll think about it. And John saying, can you talk about Unity? I'm pretty sure we talked about Unity. Yeah, we talked about Unity earlier on in the day. The stock sold off on the employee news. So I'm pretty interested to see how it moves. I like the way it moved today. I do have it on the watch list. Obviously, you can rewind the stream and watch it if you're interested to see what we talked about on Unity. Unity was the third stock that we talked about. So it should be pretty quickly into the stream. Whereas AMD was at the end of the stock talk and so on. So go check them out if you guys are interested.
Is a guide starting at our risk point, connecting to our entry, and then moving to our target. And it's primarily based on the price action we saw in those first 2 points.
Right. See, he said it too, price action.
The third thing that you need to have is that shot clock. And that shot clock guides our expectations. To supercharge this idea even more, we bring the shot clock in and we specifically talk about what should happen and the time in which it should happen. And if it doesn't happen, if what we're looking for doesn't happen, or the time that we're looking for it to occur does not meet our shot clock, we can use that information. We can actually risk less
I
than 10%
agree with
of our
this.
stop,
I
or
agree
even
with
better,
this.
We can take a partial profit.
Like, it's not a bad idea to have a shot clock.
So let's put all of this together again and look at a different but very specific scalping strategy. This is, again, something used by that trader on our desk, and this changed the way he was thinking about his trading. We call this the offside scalp.
Okay, let's see.
Here are the basics. So an in-place stock moves in one trending direction. So we're looking for some sort of sustained move, either up or down. And then it sort of tries to retrace a little bit of that move and actually puts in that range. So it goes from trending to ranging.
So trending
this
to
is a
ranging.
Great idea.
And then another
a
lower
great scalp
range
to look for around VWAP. If something's above VWAP and then comes below VWAP, you can look for that scalp. If something's below VWAP and comes above VWAP, you can look for this scalp to set up.
Okay.
So the keys are the stock builds out a range with at least 2 distinct tests, either higher or lower, and another 2 distinct tests, either higher or lower. What we define by distinct tests, you can actually see in the example. So on that second attempt, or when it really looks like that range might break, in this case to the upside, we're talking about a short, but again, you can just flip the charts if you wanted to. So when it looks like it might break to the upside and it doesn't, think about the traders that are now off sides. It's
Trapped.
not that gives us our trade. It's actually the response to the attempt higher that gives us our scalp. So we need that attempt higher, and then we need a response to it. So if the sellers slowly and methodically step in after that look like it might bust higher.
So do you take the
sellers
break
step
out of
in,
this?
We get a scalp that sets up as a break of the range to the
Yeah,
downside.
you take the
because
breakout.
now those long traders that were off sides, they'll kind of rush to sell. And that rush usually gives us our ability to get rewarded very, very quickly.
But do you get in on the pullback, or
For this
do you take the
scalp,
breakout?
we have
Okay,
our
you take the
entry.
breakout, and where's your
We
stop?
risk against the highs of that
I thought
move,
so.
And we target one measured move lower, and then we just take our exit.
Yeah, so 1R.
Our shot clock tells us that we
you're-
expect this scalp to play
You're
out
getting in on the
relatively quickly.
breakout. You're
We
trying to
expect the
take that
sellers will kind of
1R,
remain
but you
selling,
also have a shot
and they'll
clock
continue-
over here. Oh,
you wanna earn-
snap. You also
you're about
have
to
that
earn-
shot clock there for a reason, and that reason is, let me just go to that point again. Where are we? We're right over here. So you want to have that shot clock for a reason, because there's also a chance where the breakout actually happens, but it retraces back. So you want to have like, okay, I'm going to give it 10 seconds at best for it to stay above, let's call it 286. It's not 286 because 286 is somewhere down over here, but let's call it 286, 286.50. If this stock after breaking 286.50 is going back to 286.50, I'm going to give it maybe maximum 5 to 10 seconds to hold 286.50 on the bid and show me buying 286.50 or higher. Show me bids stepping up higher than 286.50. And if it's doing that properly, you're seeing buying coming on the tape, you're seeing bids stepping up, that's not the breakout anymore, right? There's still too much buying over here, more than the selling that's over here, and they're still fighting that opportunity. So you kind of just got trapped in this breakout. But if you give yourself a shot clock, instead of, if you give yourself that shot clock, now you take, instead of taking a whole loss of $2 over here to the north side, you can close your position much quicker and take a small hit on it and then come back to that trade later on. So that shot clock, I think that's what he's talking about when he means shot clock. So let's go find out.
Or when it really,
At least that's how we use shot clock at the office that we got trained how to trade. Not this new office that I got trained, my old office.
sellers
Greg talked about having a shot clock quite a bit.
very, very quickly.
So
For
you got to
this
have an
scalp,
expectation,
we have our
and you
entry.
need that expectation to play
We
out
risk
within a
against the
reasonable
highs of that
time, that
move,
shot clock.
And we
Let's
target
see what he
one
says.
measured move lower, and then we just scalp to play out relatively quickly. We expect the sellers will kind of remain selling, and they'll continue to trap those longs. They'll press them lower and lower. Our shot clock for the scalp is actually typically about half the time of that range formed. Now, we've covered two very specific examples here, and I hope they're really bringing you a lot of value.
Half
One
the
thing
time the
specific,
range
half
was
the time
formed?
of that range formed.
I guess you're expecting it to go to that 1R area, right? He took the size of this width of this range. He put the same box right down over here with the same width, and he's expecting, let's say this was 7:10 to 7:35, 7:40. It's about 40 minutes. He's expecting this range to fill out in 20 minutes. If that range doesn't fill out in 20 minutes, or if it gets back above this high and it starts holding above this high easily, that should be two reasons to get out. But half the time of this range, if it starts holding above 286.50 for longer than 30 seconds, I think that's a close trade walk away. But if it's already working for you and he's expecting this range to fill out in 20 minutes, I think that's reasonable. That makes sense. Look, I'm coming from my trading experience, which is much younger than the guy teaching us in this video. This guy, he trades for a professional prop firm, same as I do, but he trades for a much bigger, better professional prop firm. I don't mean that in any negative way that my trade floor firm is worse or whatever. It's just these guys are the creme de la creme. They are the top of the top. Everyone looks up to these guys. So looking at how they trade and understanding some of this, I kind of want to, understand why he's not talking about, a shot clock over here instead of the shot clock for the whole range, because I think that's a point that's very key for beginner traders. If you're only talking about the shot clock for the range to fill out and not for a shot clock for this area getting reclaimed, You don't really need to take that whole $2 hit, in my opinion. Or you can, you know, take that quick loss on that shot clock that you gave on this area and get filled at the high of the range, at which point your risk is pretty much the same, but you have much tighter risk than the breakout risk. Much tighter risk than the breakout risk. So I think there's a couple points here not being mentioned for beginner traders that should have been mentioned.
Now, we've covered two very specific examples here, and I hope they're really bringing you a lot of value. One thing we love to talk about even more is using those shot clocks for all of our trades, because it tends to be a great guide of what can happen and when it should happen. So if you want to see more information about the shot clock, go ahead and check out this video.
So you're an active trader, not doing as well as you want.
So that's all they're gonna talk about, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's all they're gonna talk about on the scalping stuff over there. Yeah, this video, as TH is saying, give it a B. Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with that one. We'll give it a B. Good idea, good concepts, good explanations. You know, trend lines, breakout of trend lines, having a risk point, having a shot clock, understanding the width of a scalp range, and then expecting that same range as a 1R. And if you can get a 2R trade out of it, even better. But you gotta be realistic with the expectations, realistic with the time of the day, realistic with the volume of the stock. Is it even in play? If it's not in play, what is the market doing? Is it just ranging sideways? So including all those other things in there, helping you create a proper scalping base, a proper scalping playbook. I guess this is a decent video to start off with, but obviously you will need to incorporate all of your trading experiences that you might have grown with, learned with, or are learning at the moment. But yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the wrap of today's stream. Thank you for coming by for another banger episode of Tuesday, January 9th. Is it 9th or 10th? 9th. January 9th. Tomorrow will be January 10th, so come back for that. For Wednesday, we'll have another banger episode. Boy, was it cold a little bit. It snowed like crazy. It rained like crazy, so I gotta go shovel my backyard right now. For my dog to be able to go poo and peep and stuff. So I'll go do that, and then I'm gonna come back and clean up my watch just a little bit. I'll wish you guys a very, very amazing market opportunities tomorrow for me too. Obviously, I want market opportunities too. Wish us all a great market day tomorrow and an even better night. Go get some sleep, guys. Very, very important to get to sleep. Last but not least, all the links, if you want to support me on social media and all the other fun stuff, right down below in the description below. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe if you think I deserve it, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Peace out. Good night. Ciao, ciao, ciao.